is the second time we've had Heather Flanagan here, and she's going to be continuing her Zen Skills for Sales. And today we're going to be looking at the process that you can create to get your process going and then keep it going so that you can measure success on down the road. And I will let Heather continue with that. Next week we have the SBDC representative coming to talk about a sales and marketing plan. That's Elaine Jones. She's done one of these workshops before. She's really fun, very personable, and she's also available as a consultant for free because this is a government-sponsored service that she offers. So,
what is SBDC?
This Small Business Development Center, if I'm not mistaken. So, pass the word. We could still probably get a few more people in here. And Heather, why don't you take it away? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie. So, I know all of you, including you.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and go around the room and say your name, your business, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how, let's see, how am I going to do this? Because I want to find out if you have a sales process, but I don't want anyone to feel like bad if they don't or whatever. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how habitual is your sales process? Like, yeah, I know, I asked the hard question. So 10 is like, oh, I've got habits, and you know, I'll be transparent and say my sales process is iffy. You know, it's like I have an ideal, but then life happens. So I would say my number is, I'd like to tell you 6, but it's probably about a 5. I have a ways to go to feel really kind of a bit of a transition, to be fair. So say we all. So your name, your business, and where you feel, how habitual is your sales process on a scale of 1 to 10? Marcia?
I'm Marcia. My business is moving well. And this whole concept of the sales process, I just kind of need to say this. My sales process to this point is I leave breadcrumbs. And the breadcrumbs are in lots of, print ad, word of mouth, blog, But that's the end of my sales process. Most of the people who call me make an appointment and they're fine. And if they're not, the only reason they don't make it is because I'm not on their insurance plan. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get away from. So in terms of what my current sales process is, I'm at a 9. But I just don't have much of a process.
Right.
But continuing to leave breadcrumbs, I will do it.
Right. It's about what works. So your business is called
Moving Well.
Moving Well, and just so we remember what
Physical therapy and Christ, mostly based.
Right. Okay. And Bill.
Bill, and Reddick Consulting, and my sales presentation I think is not as much habitual as it is chronic. And what I'm trying to do is to speed it up, beef it up, and really look at it more from how customers see things and get into the psychology and thought process.
Right. Okay. So kind of looking under a microscope a bit more. Okay. Great. I can identify. Sid.
Hello, Sid Mays, Horizon Home Inventory.
Right.
I record the assets in the home business, put it on DVD so you have access to it in a secure location in the event of emergency or natural disaster or legal issues. And the question was,
how habitual is your sales process?
I don't really know how to answer that.
It's a trick question.
Or
it's a tricky question.
It's a tricky question.
It's a tricky question. So maybe we'll follow the theme. I think it's a more elaborate, explanation. Especially since we don't have that big a group. If you want to describe what your sales process is, like follow Marcia and Bill's lead, go for that. So 1 to 10 things. We're throwing that out now. I can punt.
I try to, mention what I do to just about everybody I come in contact with, and modify my story, and I've modified my website, And, I'm just interested in picking up as much detail and nuance from others as I can to kind of enhance what I do as far as my business is concerned.
Cool. Good. And just to be clear, this I like to have, and it's nice that we have a small group, because I like to have a lot of interaction when possible, because there is so much to learn from each other. So, cool. Great. Alex.
So I'm Alex, and my business is Artopia Creative, and I'm a graphic designer, an artist, muralist, lots of creative services actually that I offer. My sales process is pretty sketchy. I get most of my business from word of mouth referrals, and I'd say my process consists of, my marketing process consists of checking in with past clients every so often, usually via email, checking in to see if there's anything that's going on that they might need help with, or just to see, just to touch base. I have virtually zero process in place in terms of reaching out to completely new, untapped clients or potential clients.
Right.
That's where I need to step it up.
Okay. So, I'm doing outreach.
We're sort of almost dissimilar.
What's that?
We're sort of similar. I mean, we're
Yeah.
kind of a similar thing. Like,
Yeah, similar.
it's like people come to me but I don't,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, you leave,
And I
right?
do, I do have a little bit of a social media presence that I try to maintain, but again, I don't know that I'm really necessarily speaking to potential customers in that. I feel like I'm more or less speaking to friends and other creatives, and I'm just having trouble kind of targeting myself
Right,
in the right direction.
Targeting. Great. So your emails when you ping previous customers, is that individual or?
That's individual.
Not an e-newsletter?
Right, I don't have something like that set up.
Right.
It's something I've thought about for a long time. I've thought about blogging. The only thing that I kind of do that's not individually targeted is like Facebook. I do maintain a Facebook page, and I post fairly regularly. But again, it's more of a fun connecting thing.
Right. More keep reminding people that you exist, kind of thing. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Hey, Elle.
Hi.
How do I spell Elle?
E-L-L-E, thank you.
All right. E-L-L-E. And we'll wait to, the questions we're asking are your name, what your business is, and what your sales process is so far. And if you're ready to roll, you can go, or if you want to settle in, we can finish off with these two and
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no worries. Okay. Leslie.
I'm Leslie Schneider.
What's your business? Just
With Jason, founders of OfficeXPats. And sales is definitely a weak link in our overall business model. And what we do is we're creating a community both of members and of people, sort of friends of OfficeXPats with the newsletters. So I think what's going well is the newsletter to keep communicating out about what we have here. And a new idea was to do a test drive month and then keep in touch with test drivers so that we could then find out how things were going and then get them into some sort of a membership at the end of that test
So
drive.
it sounds like you're working on a referral engine kind of concept.
Yeah, so there's a lot. So then I want to take that test drive and maybe apply it as an ongoing thing so that we have a few slots of test drive that we could do every month. And, but, that can't be the only thing that we're doing. So I just,
So it sounds like you're also kind of in a R&D, research and development, on what your sales process is, which is, it's a phase and it has to be honored. It's, can't be perfect with their sales process from the get-go. Right. Always putting out feelers and doing things. You know what, we need to hand out the course worksheets.
well, I think everybody has it except for some people. And did you guys all have one, right?
Is that a yes over there?
Yes.
Do you need one?
Do you need one?
All right. And here. Hi.
I'm Karen Parkey-Casey, and Inspired Action is my consulting business. And it's, I kind of like all the words I've been hearing so far. It's in a phase, it's in a, and I'm doing a lot of research right now because it's getting reinvented. And so a lot of my business is about conversation, and so part of my sales really is having conversations, focused, intentional conversations. Sometimes with past clients, because my clients coming out of faith communities and city governments move around a lot, so they're not always locatable, and they become new clients by the fact that they've moved and now have a new constituency. So just dancing with some new ideas, and my favorite question is, who else should I talk to, what else should I read?
Nice one. Yes. Well, who should I talk to and what?
Who else should I talk to, and what else should I read?
What else should I'm sorry.
Read?
Read?
Read. Read. I often find authors are a potential source of information.
Okay.
So I have conversations with authors that I like, I guess is how that goes.
Okay. Great. And so to recap for Elle, Alex does her business is Artopia. She does graphic design and among other things, and she's looking at outreach and targeting her audience. Sid does home inventory, and he's looking for ways to network and modify. But he's been modifying his story and his website, so he's also in Flex. Bill says he's a chronic. Bill does Reddit consulting, and he does chronic sales, he, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm sure it'll be revealed. And Marcia does physical therapy, and as I remember, you want to do more of the holistic spirit, more of a spiritual angle on physical.
Or at least
Maybe not spiritual.
I mean,
Holistic.
whole person work, and not necessarily in the medical model.
Less medical,
not so much, insurance and all this referral doctor thing. So I'm kind of in this transitional period, and have no idea what I mean.
So she's been putting out breadcrumbs, and wants to be more proactive with outreach, and So, Elle.
My name's Elle Tatum. I'm a licensed optician and have been practicing on the island for 20 years. So just through OfficeXPats, I got the courage and the incentive to start my own optical business. And so that has been just like 5 weeks ago that this has started. And so let's see, right now I would say I'm in a transitional phase, and I'm kind of like, it's a ball that started rolling that is carrying, or especially the last month. It seemed like networking was happening, and almost to the overwhelming point, but I realized that that's really who could come if they didn't know, so that was important, especially with the limited advertising budget. So building a website, Facebook, I need more skills with that. I kind of like to, I feel that a large percent, certainly higher than 50%, maybe higher than 75%, is based on people on the island whom I know through glasses. Somebody was just here this morning that's a member and said, "Didn't you lease from Dr. Chung like 20 years ago?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and then I remembered his name. So if they know, I think I've got the support. I also feel like I'm kind of a chronic salesperson, or doing chronic sales. Each one is individual, especially not just the sale of the pair of glasses, but of the conversation. And so I was even doing that at the Ace parking lot last night with a tray with glasses. What's under the glasses? So I'm here to learn.
All right. Great. Good. Thanks. So So what we're gonna do, this is, last session I had a lot more content, and then we did a little bit of worksheety stuff, well, kind of a lot. But this time it's gonna be more of an actual work session, because I want everyone to kind of have tools and have a strategy set up so you can hit the ground running, try some new things, that sort of thing. So the first thing we're going to do is look at your toolbox and look at what does work. Because if you're in business and you feel the confidence that you can own a business, and you've probably owned businesses before or worked for businesses, something gives you the message, you know, that you feel like you can have a business, and so something's working. Probably 90 to 95% of what you're doing is working. So I like to look at what is working and then pick that apart. When something goes wrong, we're really good at picking that apart. Like, what went wrong? So we want to look at what, oh my gosh, no matter what I do, no matter what I try, I keep succeeding. Why is that? And give the success as much passion as you might give the, quote, learning failures, which we call learning experiences, on a good day. So your first little assignment here is to take some time and think of 3 times you feel like you've moved a sale forward.
That would be like an individual sale, like a pair of glasses?
It could be, yeah, it could be an individual, like think of a time when you close.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to use the traditional sales language because I think people have a lot of resistance to the buzzwords, so I like to use the buzzwords, but I think it's all spiritual. Mm-hmm. It's all energy. So it's some, you know, it could be a specific thing where you felt like you moved a sale forward or moved a networking communication forward, or it could be a general concept too, like, you know, I do this and it works in general. Every once in a while it's like, okay, what is working? And so the second question is, what specifically did you do, or how did you be to move that sale forward? So that's kind of looking more deeply at each aspect, and you know, what moved you forward? How did you learn that thing? Or what state of mind did you need to be? Or what scheduling, you know, it could be that, oh, it's on my calendar, that's why I did that. Or it could be, I really connected with that person, and that's why. There's no wrong answer.
Sure, you know, it's exactly stuck, but in 2 of the cases I'm thinking about, people randomly picked up some written thing that I've written.
Oh, right.
And came, you know, I didn't do anything, you know, they picked it up and, you know, I had my name and phone number on and they called, and that's a common pathway.
You know, you did do something. Yeah. You wrote it up and you put it somewhere. So that's working for you. And these, you know, the second section, that's your toolbox. So that's already working for you. So maybe you write more, or maybe your write-ups, you expand the locations where those are. And maybe that's the whole key for, you know, you don't have to cold call. And especially if you don't want a cold call and you don't feel comfortable, I like to find workarounds so that, you know, you feel the most comfortable. If you really feel called to do something like cold calling or something that doesn't feel comfortable, then you play with it and take baby steps. But, you know, that's why we look at what's working. Then you can leverage what's working. So does everyone have at least one? What moved you forward? Okay. So there are probably 3 reasons to do this exercise. One is you get to know what's in your toolbox, what's working, and leverage that, like I was just saying with Marcia. So if there's a ways to do more of that thing. The other thing is looking at what's working helps feel better. We look at everything that's not working, or our frustration that it's taking too long, you know, that can be a downward spiral. So looking at what is working is a good boost. And so does anyone want to share one? Something they discovered?
Excuse me. Well, the first one I thought of was the biggest sale I ever made since I've been in business, which was a huge project for a huge company in the Middle East. And it was a project that I almost didn't even bid on. When I got the RFP, I just thought, well, this is so big, I can never handle this. But what shifted for me was, I realized, A, it wasn't a job that I had to do on my own. It was certainly not a one-person job. This was a job for a team of people. And then when I realized I actually could build a team like that around me, and contacted those people, and yes, they were interested in putting their hat in the ring. So I spent almost 2 weeks writing a proposal, and it was about a 3-page proposal. Wow. And I took it on as a job in itself, just to learn just to know how to write a good proposal. And when I was done with it, I sent it off, and I just felt really good about having done it. And I just figured, okay, well, there was my project. It's done. I'm not going to get this, but
yeah.
Then
it was
I found
a good exercise.
It was a great exercise, and then I found out I was one of the top 3 in contention and needed some more follow-up questions answered. So then I really shifted into, damn it, this is the right team for this. We can get this job, and I really just put that into, I put that into the initial proposal. To me, what made the difference was that I spoke because this is what I put for the next question, what did I do to move that forward? And to me, it was about putting my own confidence in my team and myself that, yes, I'm worthy of this project and I can take it on. And we ended up winning the project. And it employed me for like 6 months, and it was great, and it was amazing. And so to me, it was very important to, and I think we probably all do this, like we don't even have enough confidence in our own abilities. Like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough for that.
Right.
It's something that I go through all the time.
Right.
So that was a huge win.
Let me reflect back to you everything I heard that's in your toolbox, because this is all about you, Alex. Okay. So it is. I mean, it really is all about you, each of you. So I see taking a risk. I see asking for help. I see diligence. I see kind of looking at the process as more of a exercise. Like you didn't feel the pressure, like I gotta get this. It was like, oh, well, I'll play with this. I'll learn something new. It's gonna be a project. It'll be interesting, right? And researching, you're curious about writing a proposal. Right. So having that curiosity instead of that, oh my God, I suck, I'm in panic, and I have to get this. You chose confidence. And sometimes, that whole fake it till you make it thing, it's like, if you don't feel confident, you can try it on and pretend, or think of somebody in your life that you're like, oh, I wish I were like them, I wish I were confident, and like, I'm going to pretend to be that person, It's like, oh, okay, no, I'm going to walk and I'm going to put my shoulders back. Rarely, I have horrible posture, but it's just more comfortable slouching. And playing with it instead of feeling like you're a fraud necessarily, or there's I could do a whole class on the fraud complex. Worthiness, and I hear again with a choice, you chose that you're worthy and your team was worthy, and it probably helps to feel worthy when you do have that team backing you, and stretching yourself. So that's a lot of tools in the toolbox. And then moving forward now, you've got an arsenal to work with.
Wow, I do.
You sure do.
Iron Man all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Off the scooter, right.
It's awesome. Does someone else? Well, let me check my time. So the next questions are, when have you felt challenged? Or when do you regularly feel challenged? Where do you get stuck? And and you can pick a specific moment when you've felt stuck, or a place you repeatedly feel stuck, and then what do you wish you'd done differently, or what do you wish you'd do differently? Like if someone else could just come into your body and take charge, what would you have them do? If you could be possessed by space aliens. Or not.
When you say, when have you felt challenged by a customer interaction, does that mean like, that's specifically like in the sales process?
Well, it's all the sales process, not necessarily, just at any time. Or, you know, I would love to rewrite this question now and say, you know, when do you feel stuck, or when have you felt stuck? Or when have you felt challenged by a customer interaction?
It seems like sort of almost a natural psychological progression when you are doing action, and then you have success, and then after success you get lazy, and then after lazy you get scared, and then so every time I feel just like whether I'm in that scared category for a short time or a long time, first thing I do is take action.
Right.
At least get moving, doing something.
Right.
Then sooner or later you're having success again, and you kind of keep that wheel moving.
Do you have cameras in my office, Sid? I totally can relate to that.
They're not activated.
Okay, good. It's good to know. Does anyone want to share about a stuck place?
Well, excuse me, no, go ahead. I just didn't see you start, go ahead.
Either way, go ahead, Marcia.
Okay, well,
And then we'll get to Al.
I mean, this is the one thing that happens over and over again, is somebody calls and they say, you know, are you, you know, and they'll be, you know, they're all ready, and, you know, maybe we've talked a little bit about what I do, and then they say, do you take blah, blah, blah insurance? And I'm not on that insurance. And they say, sorry. And, you know, sometimes I'll try to recommend somebody else who might be on their insurance. Sometimes, you know, I kind of, you know, let it go. And I guess what I want to figure out is how to convince them that what I have to offer is worth paying out of pocket for. And that's like the big question. And, you know, I certainly have my confidence issues, but I've also most of the people I see have gone to physical therapy before and haven't gotten better. And I've helped some of them, many of them, which gives me the you know, a certain level of confidence that I do have something else to offer. I'm not like totally not confident.
Right. This reminds me of an article that I read a couple articles. I just, you get play with your phone before you go to bed. And I was looking at the most important, I googled, what is the most important thing in sales, and found this article about, it's rapport. And then I found another article that said, everybody says it's rapport, but really what's important is proof. And so what I see for you is testimonials, or people who are willing to, and you have to work with confidentiality on this, but people who are willing to be references, like what you do is above and beyond. And so that's one thing. Of course, there's going to be some people who just can't afford it. Yeah, but so that's one idea. But do you have an idea of what you'd like to do that's different? So, yeah.
No, I mean, this is the big, if I want to eventually transition out of the insurance thing, who knows if the healthcare changes, and Medicare is like way too complex for the kind of business I have, and most of the calls I've gotten recently have been people who already take Medicare.
Yeah, and Medicare is in the business of making people not see. Sorry,
right.
That was political.
Yeah, no. So it's just sort of, I'm not desperate. I have some client. I'm just sort of trying to make this.
Yeah. Maybe a next step is just asking everyone for advice. Another thing is with the insurance, they take a cut.
Yeah.
So maybe lowering your prices.
I do give discounts versus what the insurance would pay, and other services out of the insurance model that are slightly cheaper. Yes.
So I was just wondering, in this particular case, if you were to sort of acknowledge, yes, that's a tricky position to be in, and I'm really confident that there's a good chance you would, get benefit out of what we're doing. Here's what I can offer you, and then maybe say that there's, if you come X number of times and you don't see a result, I will, either give you a full refund or a 75% refund or whatever it is for having, and that way you get to see the results before you're sort of, and if you don't see the results, then there's an out.
Yeah, an intermediate, so they feel safe. Yeah, so we should talk about this. So Elle had something.
Well, the feeling safe thing was of interest to me too. Well, specifically, I'm thinking of a client that didn't close. He was just kind of high energy and kind of a real critical of my business and me when it wasn't really, I didn't think an appropriate time to be. And one was the no insurance, I didn't have a credit card swiper, I don't have a real shop, so I looked fly by night. And then ended up, and I was only, this was like a month ago, so, you know, some things I now didn't, you know, it just wasn't there yet. And so he had me put product on hold and has never gotten back a hold of them. And I feel like, well, I should be contacting him to follow this up. And then I kind of thought, no, I don't think so. Because one of the things I think I am doing right is I got away from negativity in my job, and now I do what I love the way I love to do it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's more important. If you've got, my dad's a psychotherapist, and every once in a
Cool.
while, yeah, that's, you know, that's my true credential,
Yeah.
besides all the training. So when he gets, you know, he has a great caseload, he works on post-traumatic stress disorder, and when he gets a couple of people on his caseload that are kind of energy drags, he gets really depressed about his work. And so, you know, I think being discerning, you don't have to turn everybody into a sale. Most important thing is to, I mean, in my world, the most important thing is to have fun, because if I'm not having fun, I'm not showing up. So whatever your fun is, you know, it might be really analyzing things, and that's when you're happy, but people wouldn't say you're happy, but you love that, you know, enjoying what you're doing is so important.
I think Elle said it really well just a second ago. She said, I want to do what I love the way I love to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the way we should all be in what we do.
So we gotta move forward. I'm sorry. So the next section is, and I'm gonna hang out for a while and invite people. Is there anyone who's in this room directly after?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, so I will hang out afterwards, and anyone who wants to, we can talk more about these. So starting from the end, so what will it be like when you are successful with your sales process and skills? And I'd love for you to write this in as it's happening now, like it's already happening. So what is happening in your business? What do you see? How do you feel about your business? And what is possible now? Every cell in your body has receptor sites for, like my cells have receptor sites for coffee, and if I don't have coffee, my body says I need that thing. It's called addiction. So when we're sending out, yes, it is.
I know that one.
Yes, and when our brain's sending out the stress chemicals that happen from fear and worry, our cells develop receptor sites for that, and we crave it. And when we have a sudden relief, you know, if it's ever happened where you have a sudden relief from the outside stressor, you might notice that you're waiting for the other shoe to fall, or looking over your shoulder, because your body, that's your body's way of saying I need that stress chemical. So by meditating on what it's going to feel like when I am actually successful, you start setting up receptor sites for those good feelings, and your body's like, I need more of those good feelings, and you'll just unconsciously do what needs to be done to feel good. And it's a much better motivator, I think.
That's so wonderful that you explained that, because that's such, you know, in a way, leading edge research that a lot of people don't know, and it's crucially important that there's a scientific, you know, explanation for it.
Yeah.
And you can do something about it.
Yeah. Why should the woo-woo people have all the fun?
Exactly.
Not that I'm not woo-woo. I'm closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, Ian knows. So does Karen. Okay, so the next page, you are a guide, which I put that there because really if you're waiting for the client or customer or potential customer prospect to lead the way, people generally want you to lead the way, you to tell them what's going to happen, you to set up expectations. And so, you know, I want to set the stage for you thinking of yourself in terms of being a leader in the sales process. So what is your sales process from finish to start? So think about that end state that you want and track backwards on your sales process. And we might not get, you might not get the whole thing, but I want you to start.
What would be considered the finish, actually? I mean, is it the, I've landed the project, or is it I've been paid?
You know what?
Done, or,
in my mind, that finished, you're done when your customer goes and tells someone else. I like to start from there.
I like that.
And I have clients who don't have my kind of work in their budget. So for me, I'm done when they put my kind of work, consulting work in their budgets, so that I know they can call me back again.
That's good.
Setting the stage for the
repeat business.
For repeat business, right. And the second column, how do you want your customer to feel? That's about being very intentional about that customer experience. People buy from emotion. They don't buy, people on a scale. Some people are totally into logic, but most people, they're still emotional. They just pretend they're not. So I like to look at being intentional. Now, someone, you might want them to feel exhilarated, but they feel compelled. That's okay. They don't have to feel the way you want them to feel. It's more about being intentional about what experience, the subtle, subconscious experience that you're wanting to set up.
So how you start with 10 and work down to 1?
It's an experiment. Usually I start from 1 and work to 10, and 1 I consider to be the initial contact, like the first time someone hears about you. So, it's an expanded view of the sales process. Because most people are like...
It's funny if 10 and 1 almost were the same. So for example, if 10 is, I get a call from someone who was referred to me by an ecstatic client.
Exactly.
So number 1 could be a referral calls me up who just heard about me from an ecstatic client.
Right.
So what happens in between?
Yeah. People love to add value, and they love to, gossip and share. And socially for us, the kind of one of the undercurrents is that it gives us a one-up position to share something with someone else. It's subtle, but it's like psychological. So people like to share, and when they've had a good experience, it's like, I want to give you this thing. I want to have an effect in your life and bring happiness to you. And so, so it's good to have, and to set an expectation with the person, like, when you share this with other people, because you expect that they'll share it with other people, the best way for people to start connecting with me, the best way for people to connect with me is to send an email or to give me a call. I give a free trial or whatever it is, so that you train your complete customer in the process, how to get someone in contact with you. Because if it's vague, like how do I make contact with that person, it's harder. That's the part, you are a guide. You are leading them by the hand. You are showing them what the process is. Different sales processes for different aspects. So one helpful way would just be to pick a sale that's gone all the way through and pick it apart, pick the process apart. And sometimes it's like probably with what you do, Elle, it's probably, it shifts from person to person. The rapport building could be just like this. The rapport building could be a long, extended process. For me, it's like sometimes someone has a scrap of paper in their purse with my number on it and calls me 2 years later or whatever. So, yes. This is probably going to be homework.
And is the right-hand column, how do you want your customer to feel, is that sort of like in conjunction with what we're writing on each line?
Right.
What is our customer feeling during those steps?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, what your intention is.
This is homework.
It's homework, yeah. So we've got to start. If this were a 2-hour session, we'd go through and I would help each of you and we get it done. We will. So I think I'm going to do. Leslie and I are planning on having a regular, maybe monthly sales workshop or something where I come in monthly. I think monthly is probably gonna work, and where we come in and work on whatever's coming up for folks. So,
And how long would that be, like a 2-hour or longer than this?
I think it would be, longer than this, like an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. We're still ironing out the details a lot. So the last page, well, it's the second to last page. Looking at your ideal week, how would you like to schedule your sales process into your week? And the intention with this is homework, but the intention with this is to really look at if life's being normal, which life seldom is, but if life's being normal, it's like, when do you do your follow-up? When do you plant your seeds? When, and creating, this is the ritual part, creating a habit. And it's hard, it takes a lot of energy in the beginning to create a habit, but as you get used to it, it's like my brain automatically, like if I'm not going to swim on Tuesdays, my brain feels weird, like I'm not doing the right thing, because I need to go to swim on Tuesdays. I know, it's a crazy habit, but once you've been to swim, never mind. Okay, swim is a delightful community.
But it smells good.
Yeah, right. So this would be, and the homework is maybe to look at your schedule and go ahead and schedule in the things, maybe the things that you don't do that you should do, aka want to choose to do, scheduling those things in on your calendar so it starts to become habit. Knowing that life throws curveballs and that it's almost never going to be perfect, but at least there's an intention. And, okay, I'll give you a few minutes to just jot whatever notes you need to be complete or be well begun. Meditation part of my sales process. I consider cleaning the kitchen. I work out at my home. I consider cleaning the kitchen part of my sales process. So I don't beat myself up. It's like anytime you're doing one thing, there's 1,000 other things you're not doing, but I need the kitchen clean. Or I just, it's overstimulating and I can't focus. You can go ahead and do the bottom. What are 3 action steps you can implement now? Like there's a lot here, and you might take this sheet home and it'll get stacked in the pile, or you might really, Elle's nodding, yes. Or, you might go back to it later and really look at it, whatever you choose. But I would love for you to come away with a definite commitment of 3 things, that, easy baby steps that are in the direction of what you want to get, something that you will implement. Like, I don't want it to be a big stretch goal, unless stretch goals are what it takes for you personally to move forward. Yeah.
Do you do any cold calling?
She does for clients.
Yes, I do for clients.
You do?
Yeah, I do for clients.
I meant for yourself.
For myself, I'm going to, because I want to get out and do more speaking, so I'm going to need to call rotaries and chambers and that sort of thing. But mostly I do networking, going out and meeting people and this sort of thing, doing workshops.
What do you need to do for clients? I'm confused.
Oh, like, actually Leslie and I, may I share? Leslie and I had a session where she wanted to do some cold calling to get people to come to an open house. And so to ease the transition, we sat in the office here and I did a cold call, and we wrote a script, you know, so that you know what you're gonna say. You don't read the script. And I did some cold calls, 1 or 2, and Leslie was ready to go. So, and then I have another.
It's hand-holding.
It's hand-holding, yeah, that's what I do. And then I have another client that I actually do sales as a consultant, and so I do hand-holding for them. So, but yes,
But I think it's also, you know, it's a great service to do that kind of hand-holding with the client until the point that they go, oh, I get it now. This is not that bad. I can even see myself having fun.
Yeah. I like to set myself up with like my favorite tea and a little chocolate, maybe light a candle, and then do whatever the thing is that I hate to do. You know, it's like, it's a ritual, it's sacred. All right, what are you gonna do? I wanna hear, it's exactly 1 o'clock, by the way. I wanna hear what you're gonna do. Yeah, one thing that you're gonna do as a result of your ponderings today. And you can go popcorn style if you want. Or we can start with Marcia.
Okay, be sure to suggest to current clients if they know somebody else who would be interested in my work.
Great. Ask for referrals.
Yeah, that's better said.
Oh, I've been doing this a while.
Well, I'm going to do more of the psychology of the eventual buyer of the business. In my business, I get a client, I do the analysis, the presentation, all the CPAs and everybody go, oh, great. We put them out, the buying investment firms thinks the presentations are great, but they don't buy. And, you know, the M&A firm that's, you know, hiring me and so forth, they're all frustrated. And I think the answer is, what I'm putting up here, is you've got to get to know who that decision maker is and understand perfectly what is their motivators and be able to talk to them too. Right now, so I'm going to be talking to those people.
Fabulous.
And to get through to them.
Good, great, thanks. Sid.
Be more proactive in asking for the appointment.
Great. Yeah. I like to ask for things like, it's no big deal and I expect that you're going to say yes. You know, that's what we talked about 2 weeks ago, it's assuming the sale. I think I talked about that 2 weeks ago. But it's like, and getting an appointment is a kind of mini sale. There's little mini slices to the process along the way. So I like to go, oh, well, we should get together. That's, you know, we're friends. We're chummy now. We have rapport. So cool. Great. Alex.
Well, like Marcia, I think I want to ask for referrals and or testimonials. I have gotten some testimonials from some clients, but there's a couple out there that I think that I've done work for more than once that I think would probably be very happy to do that for me. And also, I think one thing I can do that's real tangible that I've been kind of putting off because my website doesn't represent this work yet, but I'm going to wait forever if I wait for that. So I want to post on Island Moms an announcement about my color consultation and painting services, because that part of my business is so new and it's so local compared to what I'm used to doing in terms of my design business. So I need to start reaching out to the local community more.
That's the R&D part, like it doesn't have to be perfect. And
right.
We call that a soft launch.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your website perfect, you just have to connect. Fabulous. Hell.
I guess the biggest thing that is the scheduling in of the less desirables, less artistic aspects. That would be bookkeeping and paperwork. And so I'm thinking that I do 2 half-days at OfficeXPats and assign one of each time. That's the time that I go do it. And if I feel like doing it at home at the kitchen table that night too, so be it. But don't have to. I'm trying to create also some time off. I might not be good at keeping that, but.
But time off
Yeah.
is play, and time off is part of your sales process.
Yeah.
Because it's the part where you work on the foundation of what makes you happy. Everything stems on whether you're happy and fulfilled.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
It's part of your sales process. I love to spin life the way I want to perceive it. One thing I like to do with stuff I hate to do is, you know, start it maybe in the evening around 4 and couple it with a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. And so it's like that releases your inhibitions, including your fear of failure. And it can, you know, it can help like, oh yeah, I can do my taxes. TurboTax will tell me what to do.
I'm hoping on that here. The 30th.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Leslie.
Oh, there's so much to do, but I think this is not immediately directly related to new sales, but I think a really important thing that will help in that direction is to create a follow-up process with our new members to find out how they're doing, to get feedback, to get testimonials, and primarily to get stories.
Yeah, stories are good. Excellent.
I'm just saying great.
Good.
Just mumbling to myself.
There's support.
I totally support what Leslie does.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put, now that I'm through with one other project, put running back into my schedule 3 days a week.
Great.
Especially for sales. And then schedule a face-to-face team meeting or whatever it turns out to be with the string pillar I've actually discovered on the board of directors I want to connect with, and one former client.
Great. I love that. Running.
Well,
It's part of your sales process.
if I've got running in there, meditation follows much easier.
Right, right. And
Okay, my main thing is that I need to create finished saleable products. I still have to finish my books, but I also want to start some classes, like, you know, like groups of classes, like maybe 6 weeks, you know, hand-holding kind of thing for their self-expression and creativity and whatnot. So I need to figure all that out and create that before, but once I have stuff to sell, then, you know, it's easier. And secondly, Alex gave me the idea, I still haven't signed up for Island Moms, and Leslie suggested I do that so I can promote my workshop that's coming, my writing workshop that's coming up on the 4th of May, so I need to do that.
great. Good. Sounds like we have some plans. That's awesome. The last page is just some tips around customer experience for you to enjoy on your own. There's some good questions in there. And let's see. So Leslie and I, to close, Leslie and I are working out some kind of program where I'll do a more complete sales training monthly. We'll figure out what that is. If any of you are connected with communities wherein I could speak about sales and customer experience, Rotaries, chambers, whatever, I would love to hear about that. And then also just a reminder that part of this workshop is having a 30-minute free telephone consultation. So my contact information is on the bottom of the worksheets. And I'm not going to hound you about this. It's if you're moved to, call me. And we're complete. Thank you for coming.
And I'd like to add her 30 minutes on wonderful, because I already did.
Thank you.
So I'd also like to thank Steve Stolee for taping these, and so your previous presentation is available now on the OfficeXPats YouTube channel, so please go back and review, or you know, right now we're just experimenting with this thing. It's free and open to the public, so you know, if you have someone that you think would benefit from Heather's work or any of our other presenters that Steve has got up there, you know, let them know and get them to sign up for the Tuesday at noons. And I think this is becoming a really valuable offering to the community. So Steve, thank you very much.
Do you have your OfficeXPats YouTube channel published somewhere?
Yeah.
A link? On the website or whatever? Oh, yeah. that'd be-
No, I think that they're,
That's how they get there.
I couldn't find it.
You couldn't find it?
I actually got to it through your newsletter when you talked
Yeah, that's
about it.
right.
Oh, right, okay. I'll go see where it is or if it is and make sure that it's,
If you go to YouTube and search Office Expats, it will take you to the Office Expats channel, and there's a long column of videos.
and it's actually, it's YouTube Whack Office Expats, so you can just get there directly, but that's, I think we will rectify it.
Going last, or what's a whack?
Whack, or is
Slash.
oh, is that slash? Okay, I've never heard of that.